In this video, I want to show you how to use modpath with ugrid. So we're going to use this flowpath model, and we're going to first set up a ugrid, and we'll use grid frame and set up the dimensions, and then we'll make a coverage that has the specifications for the ugrid. And then we'll map to the ugrid, and we'll make a ugrid with 50 layers. So what it looks like in cross section. And the coverages are from the previous video. So we can add modflow to this. Checks out, looks good. I want to check the LPF and specify anisotropy factors, and we'll check the hydraulic connectivity coverage and make sure that the coverage is set up to specify those anisotropy factors. And we'll also check the attribute table. And for this one, I want to just run it with a 1-to-1 vertical anisotropy. This will be the baseline. We can change this later to take a look at the effects of anisotropy. So we'll go ahead and run this model. So here's the hydraulic heads. Now to do flow paths, we need to change some settings. So we need to go to modflow, global options, and check save native text copy. And then we'll go and run this again and save it. And when we do this, we're going to save another version of the modflow files in the native text format. This is going to be needed to run modpath. So we run this, and these extra files are created in the background. Now we go to modflow advanced, and we select the files here, this text files. You see, these are the modflow files, and you see the modflow ugrid text and modflow and modpath ugrid text. Then we want to get the .mfn file that is corresponding to the native root file that we've created. So we run that. And now we need to put in some points that will be the starting points. So we select these points, right click, and then create these points as starting points for modpath. And we inserted the ugrid, and then we need to save the file. So we're going to have to save this file before we run the ugrid, or before we run the modpath. So notice in there, before we put in those particles, we put in that modpath 3DU. Now we go ahead and run it. This is what it looks like when it runs correctly. And now there should be some flow paths that are created. You can see them, but just barely. If I turn the transparency up higher, then we can see them. If the transparency is 0, then you can't see them at all. Or if we plot the heads as linear, usually with a thicker line, then we can see both the flow paths and the hydraulic heads. So this is essentially now our flow net. So here's the procedure. Just to summarize, these are the various steps that we've just gone through. So as you go through them yourself, these steps might just serve as a reminder.